Welcome back to another episode of the BirDie Golf Club Podcast. 2 welcomes. That was an interesting start, wasn't it? Thank you so much for joining us this week. Got a really interesting chat with Michael Halpin from Low Chaser Golf, who creates some really unique grips, pastel coloured grips. Golf grips in general are actually quite a boring thing, weren't they? But there's becoming more and more of these independent golf grip manufacturers that are making grips with a little bit more identity and feeding into that lifestyle thing that comes with golf. Now, I use Low Chaser golf grips on all of my clubs, and I can say they are high quality, give that really unique feel as well to a golf club, and in time they won't be that unique anymore because more and more people are going to be using them. Reasonably priced, based in Ireland. There's other accessories as well that are available on the website, all locally sourced. So go and check them out. lowchasergolf.com, Low Chaser Golf on Instagram. Michael is a lovely guy, a hard-working guy that loves the game of golf and really created this company so that he could still be part of golf, even though he doesn't get to play as much as what he used to. Now, with all that in mind, don't be too worried about Michael. He did grow up playing one of the most iconic golf courses in golf, so stay around and listen to that chat with Michael later. Other than that, anything else to report? I mean, the world of golf, we saw Victor Hovland return to form, play a little bit more of the feels golf that he was sort of moving away from, which was very strange when he was playing some of the best golf of his career. He decided to change everything and try and play a different kind of golf, which he wasn't very good at. And now he's back playing the golf that he is good at, and he wins. So that's golf. Unbelievable. Missed, 3 cuts in a row, 4 cuts in a row, and then wins the Valspar. So Justin Thomas coming into a little bit of form, which is interesting. He's my Masters pick. So just keep an eye on that. Just keep a little eye on that. Obviously, I want Rory. We did this. We don't need to talk about. We all want Rory. I don't need to say that again. But anyway, that's pretty much it from the world of golf. I'm playing golf tomorrow. I can't wait to do it. I hope you're playing golf this week. The weather is getting better over here. In certain parts of the world as well, it's getting better. Over in the States, it's getting better. It's just a good time. It really is a good time when things start to get better and we can get out there and play golf. So go and play golf. Play it well. Enjoy it. Have a nice time with your friends. Don't forget why you started playing this game. And that was to enjoy it and have competition, but most of all, to have time with your mates out on a golf course. So go and do that. Enjoy it. Enjoy this episode with Michael from Low Chaser. And I'm going to stop telling you to enjoy things now, and I'm just going to move it on to the chat I had with Michael Halpin from Low Chaser Golf. I've said that too many times. Here he is. What's your week look like this week? What's it been like?
Well, my week is, so I'm working full time,
Mm-hmm.
but I have 3 kids as well. So the day generally starts at like 6 a.m.
Right.
and kind of 6 a.m. until between 6 and 7 from then until we get the kids out to school at 9. It's pretty much just parent mode.
Yeah.
Then work 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So my lunch break is normally where it's either house jobs, it's where I get a little bit of time into exercise maybe,
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. Pick up the kids in the evening, then into cooking, cleaning, that type of stuff. That brings us through to maybe 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then typically, if I'm going to work on the business, it's going to happen normally after 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
So the kids, even at weekends and stuff, trying to get around to golfing is hard because,
Yeah.
I joined a society, they play at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Saturday, but that's when ballet is on or when something else is on. So
I take it for
It
the
can,
kids. You're not doing ballet. I
I'm
take it.
not doing ballet.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to assume.
You can't assume these days. No, but yeah, there's something on every evening with the kids. It's
Yeah,
karate or basketball or ballet or gymnastics. There's always something on.
it's a
So
full
I'm
time job.
lucky. It's very much a full time job.
Yeah,
It's a good week if I get an hour to go to the range. That's a
yeah.
good week. Um,
We sound very similar.
it's no, I am. Part of the reason for setting up the company was I love golf. I grew up playing golf, and it was just an excuse for me to try and get more time with golf again. So the
Yeah,
whole idea was, hey, at least I have an excuse now to be on social media looking at golf.
yep,
I'm doing market research. I have to go golfing because I need to take photos of the products in use.
yes,
There's
yeah,
a little bit of that. It kind of served multiple purposes, but I'm really hoping to try and get a bit more golfing this summer.
yeah,
We just need to be realistic. It's hard for me to go golfing because I don't live a mile from the golf course anymore. And
okay,
with the kids now, I can't just say, let's, I have 4 or 5 hours skill, let's go play around the golf.
yeah,
It's much more, I have to load up the car. It's an hour and a half away. What do I do with the kids while I'm there? So it's a bigger job to get out. It's more of an exciting thing. But
absolutely.
yeah.
Whereabouts are you based in Ireland then,
So
Michael?
I'm originally from Ballybunion. So if you look at
Okay.
Ireland, it's in the southwest.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in If you were to map it to the UK, it'd be kind of close to the Cornwall equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So Ballybunion is kind of there. It's at the mouth of the River Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you move further inland, I'm just a little bit west of what's Limerick City.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be considered the Midwest or close to the Midlands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so where I'm living now, it's mainly parkland courses, but growing up along the southwest coast, it was obviously all links golf is what we played growing up.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful. Yeah.
Ballybunion, Lahinch, Tralee, Waterville, Dukes. Those would all have been our neighbouring clubs,
Mm-hmm.
the famous ones. But there's still lots of little, the odd parkland course as well around. But yeah, that
There's
was
a
growing up.
different style of golf, obviously, where you are now.
It's very different now. It's a lot more trees, and
Mm-hmm.
it sounds simple to say it, but when I grew up, there was never any tree, so
Mm-hmm.
I would move the ball huge distance in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now everything has to be high and pretty straight, and it's a lot more
Yeah.
kind of target golf. So I grew up with a lot of just running the ball around the place, really, which is
Yeah.
where the name came from. I hit everything low, so
Yeah.
um,
Hence low chaser golf, which
hence the
completely
name.
makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah,
yeah.
I think we've just done a swap of our golfing life essentially because I grew up very parkland, not too far. I was only, 30 something miles from where I am now, but everything was parkland. And now I'm on the coast. Everything is that more sort of links
Yeah.
style, sort of courses, really Heathland-esque sort of where I am. So it's a different style of golf, but I think it's probably more difficult to adapt to going from that sort of links style of golf to parkland. I think that's probably a more difficult adaptation that happens. Whereas the other way, I had to hit it within this,
Narrow
the
with,
narrow
yeah.
window essentially. It was a par three course where I grew up, and it was 20 yards wide, basically the whole thing, and then it was just tree lined. Um,
Yeah, it was. I suppose looking back on it, it was really good because how we learned how to play, we used a lot of imagination.
mm,
Like you had to have a very good short game, but we had two courses. So one was the old course is very traditional, pure links. It's one Watson fell in love with.
mhm.
Whereas what we call the new course, which is 50 years old now, that had a lot more kind of target golf, but you were playing target golf in the wind. So you
Mhm.
had very small, narrow greens to hit and
Yes, yeah.
defined fairways. So that's where the juniors were kind of banished to, and there's a certain handicap.
Learning
But
their trade.
learning our trade, it was just shaping the ball off the tee. Once I got to links course or Parkland courses, I
Yeah.
was hitting trees straight off the first tee and was kind of going, I'm only hitting the ball 50 yards here because I can't start. It took a while to adapt, but it's
Of course,
not the
yeah.
end of the world.
No, exactly. So your younger golfing life, well, how did that look sort of up until sort of like adulthood essentially? What was that for you?
Yeah, like again, I was really lucky. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ballybunion, but it's kind of been ranked in the top 20 in the world for a
Hmm.
long time. And in the 80s, Tom Watson came over and he helped put it on the map. And he got a lot of pros over. And around um, when I was around 5 or 6, my dad and my uncles were all getting into golf.
Hmm.
And at the time, it was whatever, like maybe £20 a year to get me in as a junior. So they signed me up. I didn't really, like my first golf club was somebody's old tree iron that they cut the shaft down and welded onto a head. It was like a little crowbar. But that's was my first kind of golf club, and then I got a proper set, and it didn't really click with me until I remember being about maybe 9 or 10,
Hmm.
and you probably remember. Well, you might not remember, a bit older than you, but in the 80s we didn't have much golf on TV, or early
Hmm.
90s. But I remember watching some tournament with Freddie Couples, and he was playing in the Bahamas, and he looked like a movie star.
Mm.
He was just made it look so effortless. He won this thing by, I don't know, 5 or 10 shots or something, and I just remember looking out at the pouring rain, thinking that looks cool. We should,
Yeah.
that's and that clicked for me. So I probably spent another year or two then properly kind of getting interest in it, and then when I'm trying to think exactly when. Maybe when I was in sixth class, I started caddying at the golf club. My
Hmm.
dad dropped me down one day, and it wasn't just me. It's a thing we did as kids in town. So everybody played football, and everybody either caddied or worked at the golf club or did something. So
Mm.
probably 80% of the guys in my school were caddies.
That's
So it was
cool.
kind of a social thing as opposed to anything else. And
Yeah, that's really good.
I did that from maybe age 12 until I finished college. Um, so I did that every summer, and it was really good. It brought me out of my shell a bit, got me to interact with people, but it also then introduced me to a bunch of other guys that all play golf as well.
Yeah.
And it was strict in that you had to be a member to play, but there were a
Hmm.
number of juniors who were also caddies that played. So if we couldn't get caddying, then a bunch of us would go play the other course and play 9 holes or whatever. So um, most of my
It
teenager,
sounds like a great sort of, that just
yeah, it was
sounds such a
great.
great childhood, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That
we
sort
and we
of,
didn't we probably didn't realize how good we had it until we
mm,
finished, But it was, um, 12-hour days, whether we were caddying, whether we were golfing, you
mm,
know, playing with the club team and stuff, just going off playing the likes of Waterville or Lahinch or something and all these. So it was really, really good. And then uh, that really kept me interested. And I suppose once I started college, then it kind of fell away from it just because I wasn't around anymore.
mm-hmm,
Um, a lot of my friends weren't around, and the friends I started hanging out with after college, they just weren't golfers.
mm.
Um, so it's kind of hard, it's more, hey, we go to a rugby match instead of we'll spend the day, play 36 holes or something. So,
Yeah.
but I've
Yeah, different
always,
interests start coming in at that time, don't they? It's just, and I think it's quite common. It seems
it
from
is,
people talk
yeah.
to that age to drop out from golf. Maybe it was the environment of golf at the time,
You know,
the
it's,
fuel and around it, whatever it may be. But it does seem common.
yeah, it's growing up in Ballybunion, it was always a very golf centric town. Like the
Mm,
whole economy came pretty much um, from overseas visitors, and everybody either worked in golf. So it was always intrinsic to us. And it's not like I did golf along with 50 other things. Golf was
yeah,
the main basis for the town. So I didn't really fall out of love that way. It was just more, I moved away from the area, and I'm still a member there now, but I just
hmm,
didn't have the opportunity. And, I might go to range with some of the guys, but there was never, we were much more likely to go away for a weekend and go to a rugby match or do
sure.
something else as opposed to golf. So, um, but once I started having kids and stuff, I'd always, if the Masters was on or the Open was on, I'd sit down, I'd watch it, or the Ryder Cup. I'd be trying to explain to my wife why it was so exciting, why their whole Ryder Cup thing. And when we had our first kid, she was only about a month old at the time, and the Ryder Cup was on. I was like, perfect opportunity. I'm going to explain everything.
Yeah, yeah.
She said, "Oh yeah, he said he's going to watch Ryder Cup for the weekend, thinking I'd watch 1 or 2 hours, but it was it was like literally 36 hours of golf." And she came out going, "Okay, I see the enthusiasm for it." So
Yeah.
I've just been trying to ease back into it. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. It's definitely the nice thing about golf is whether you're 8 or 80, you can still play, you can still enjoy it and have the same enthusiasm.
Yeah. And it's finding, like you said, it's finding the time. And your life obviously changed a lot from, I mean, the younger days, all the time in the world to play golf. The teenage years, obviously busy with study and everything like that goes on. And now, having a family, and it's such a common thing. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I sort of regret the time that I had all the time and I didn't play as much golf as I wanted. But now it's finding time to do that, and that's why I started this podcast, because I thought it's difficult sometimes to listen to other people that get to play golf so much, and that's fun. Like, obviously you want to hear those people, but not all the time, because that can be a little bit painful if you're not getting to play. So that's why I started this podcast, because I wanted people to have somebody to listen to, and to talk to people like yourself that have started companies, almost basically to surround yourself with a bit of golf,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And that was a big reason why I started the company, was just to ease back into golf. I don't have a 5 or 6 hour block to go golfing, but I can eke out 30 minutes during the week here and there and
Yeah.
get back into it that way and start to figure out whether it's professional golf or the whole golf culture itself. And again, it's so different. When I was growing up, like, we got a golf magazine maybe once a month, or there might be an hour of golf on TV every now and again, or the majors, you might see those, but that was pretty much it. Whereas now you can just look at Instagram and see people everywhere from Japan or Norway or South America, and you can follow so many different tournaments, get the insight and everything. It's a lot easier to get a feel for it, but still nothing beats being out in the course.
It doesn't. Nothing beats just that first tee, heading up to the first tee, hitting your shot, and just getting into a round of golf. I love the fact a lot of talk about pace of play and things like that recently. For me, I love the tradition of the fact it takes 3.5, 4 hours.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan, and I was listening to some of the other podcasts where you were talking about. It was actually the one where you went through why you got into golf and so on. Um, but I know there was another discussion where you were going through. You like some of the modern flair on things, but also having things grounded in tradition. I like that, and I'm very much, hey, let's open it up for everyone. But I don't want to see somebody in baggy jeans,
No.
On the middle of playing the 18th in St Andrews. You want to have a little bit of style.
Yeah, I feel like there's courses that should know where they sit in the ecosystem of golf, and there's your local 9-hole course. Maybe they can make adjustments to make it more inclusive. At the end of the day, you want them to stay open, so they need to have as many people going there as possible. But then there's certain courses that just, it's not going to hurt you. Look smart, keeps the traditions. Just the whole Jason Day thing at the moment. I get what he's doing, and it's capturing attention, that's for sure.
It is, and I've watched some of the interviews where he was interviewed by Melbourne and stuff, and I get the whole, hey, I play at home in sweatpants, why can't I play in the golf course? Some of it is a bit much now. The one yesterday where he had a really cool
that's
I love that one. Like, nice cardigan, nice. That looks smart. And you kind of see, there's a bit of style, and it's a little bit traditional. It ties in.
Yeah,
but it's
well,
not
it's no different to
perishable.
Tommy Fleetwood. Well, what he
Yeah,
was wearing is basically no different to what Tommy Fleetwood basically wore for what 3, 4 seasons of golf,
yeah,
like that, taking the cardigan back and things like that. But yeah, the whole uh sweat, whatever it's called,
yeah.
sweatsuit. It was just
And again, I get it if if you're going to a pitch and putt or something,
mm,
like I said, local 9 hole course, and people are getting into the game, fine. You don't want to push
yeah,
people out, but definitely as it moves, people start to play nicer courses. It's nice to have a little bit of, not to get overly fussy with things as well. I remember, some courses, you still can't wear shorts, for example. Like
sure,
if it's
yeah,
35 degrees, you should be out in shorts.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
need to be a little bit practical, or you have to wear knee socks. Like that's
yeah,
ridiculous. But have tailored shorts is fine. Just
yeah. It's finding
so
a balance. It's finding a balance,
it's a
isn't it? But
balance. It's
without
like
ripping
everything.
out the soul of golf, which can happen. So I mean, hopefully, there's a balance that's found at some point. Who knows? Who
Common
knows?
sense. Common sense isn't that common. Unfortunately, that's
It's
the
not.
problem.
I'm not sure it's going to prevail. But I mean, we touched on obviously the company and the fact that you're working
Mhm.
on it at 10 o'clock at night, which is that's not easy, is it? That's not an easy thing to do. So what other than the fact that you wanted to surround yourself with a bit of golf again, and
Mhm.
like we said, maybe provide that reason for having to go and take photos on the golf course, check out Instagram and things like that. What was the what was the main driving force behind Low Chaser Golf and the equipment that you provide? Mainly, obviously, the grips.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I could probably spend 2 hours going through the whole rationale, but it kind of ties together two things. One is I work for a tech company, so I'm kind of surrounded by sales and marketing, and even though I'm a techie by trade, kind of, the more I was surrounded by the guys, I ended up following podcasts about sales and marketing, and some of it is just very interesting. The psychology of marketing. It's more the human aspect of why would people think this way about things. So, and the more I got into it, is like, well, it would be nice to start a business of some type.
Hmm.
Just something not to give in the day job completely, but just to work for yourself at some stage or have something, to be a little bit creative, have a bit of creative outlet. So I had been thinking about starting a business, and I didn't want it to be a technical business. I didn't want to be in what I do day to day. I didn't want any conflict of interest or anything like that. And then why Low Chaser? And for anyone that doesn't know Low Chaser, we kind of do the main products I started off with were golf grips.
Hmm.
Um, you can think of them a bit like the Tour Velvets. Again, I grew up playing with those,
Yeah, they've
but
got
I
a very
wanted,
classic look to them, haven't they? Very classic
yeah,
look. Yeah.
they're not. I didn't want anything too loud. I just wanted something a little bit, I suppose, earth tones or pastel colors, and that
Yeah.
came from. I took up cycling as well, just try and get a little bit healthy.
Hmm.
And I'm one of these guys. If I start something, I kind of dive into it. So I read all the books and the magazines. And cycling at the time, it was moving away from all this horrible neon lycra into more earth tones and just having a little bit of style about things, but not
Yeah.
not too fussy. And when I was trying to get back into golf. I still have my clubs I got when I was about 16, 17, and I decided to re-grip them.
Hmm.
And I got them re-gripped. I put on some. You can probably guess who the main vendor is, but I put
Yeah.
those on, and the bill came to like several hundred euros. So I was going, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the grips I wanted. Like they were good quality grips, but I was just like, I'd like something that's not either black or white or just you know a primary color. So
Yeah.
um, at some stage it just clicked with, well, why don't I see if I can make grips I want myself? And I was buying I bought a new set of irons. Well, new to me, they were a second hand set, but they
Mm.
were newer than the set from 1998. And I said I don't want to go through the whole thing of paying another few hundred euros. So let's see if I can make. I want grips for myself, and if I want them, somebody else might want them as well. So that's a long way of saying that's where the rationale came from.
Yeah, well, you essentially saw what you would see as a gap essentially in the market for just a bit more of a stylish grip that's
Exactly.
also affordable, and also not something that's been made by one of the big manufacturers where you know people can get to a more personable level with the products they're using.
Yeah, it's again, it was just to have a little bit of personality behind it, and
Yeah.
it's something I felt a lot of people might like.
Mm.
It's not pure black. It gives a little bit of personality, but it's not in your face either. So
No, exactly. Well, I've got one here. Ooh, I fitted them. I fitted them
yeah,
myself,
nice.
actually.
There. And how'd you find it? How's the fitting?
Yeah, fine. Yeah, really good. So here's,
Just,
I don't know if you can
right.
see.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's the pastel
It's
blue. Looks
and it's
beautiful.
funny, given what I do at work, picking out colors. Most people wouldn't associate with me, but my wife says I'm actually fairly good at picking out the paints around the house and stuff. So I said, why not? Why not?
I think you got the colours bang on. It looks really. It's like understated, but it's enough that differentiates your clubs from everyone else's as well.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
performance-wise, the grip is really, really good. Like,
Yeah, the,
tacky, nice feel. I packed it out like you suggested with 4 layers of tape to get that mid-size feel, and it's great.
thanks. Yeah, the factory I work with actually do grips for a lot of big golf club manufacturers as well.
Right.
So they probably I've figured out who they make some of the grips for. I've seen in some of the backgrounds. I've been kind of looking at having a call with the reps, and I'm kind of going, oh yeah, I've seen those in shops before. So yeah, it's not a small operation that I'm working with to get
No,
the grips.
no, exactly. But it's just giving people those options, giving you know the kind of, and also you sent the ball marker through the Kelsey Knott ball marker, which was like I can believe the quality of that. Like I've got a few ball markers and they feel a little bit flimsy. That's a
Yeah, and
piece.
again, I was sitting through the spec. I was there like I want, he's a thick boy. I was like, I want this one to feel solid. And I sent through the spec, and they're like, "You sure you want it that big?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I want this to feel like
Oh
I want
yeah,
it to feel like a poker chip. I want it."
yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. I couldn't believe it. Like, I got the weight of it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
That's got some nice weight to it, which is what because it differentiates it again. Like it's not just another ball marker that comes with something. It actually literally is a real like piece for someone's bag, to have in there.
thanks. And again, it's what I wanted. I just wanted something that if you have it, you put it in the bag, and you're not really going to forget about it. It's not going to
No.
be hidden in with 5 or 10 others. So,
Yeah.
um, and I'm going to. Bear me one sec. I'm going to show you a little sneak peek of two. He's just arrived today.
Oh, here we go. Got a podcast exclusive. I like a
Podcast
podcast
exclusive.
exclusive.
So I've wanted to add in a few Irish pieces. So these are handmade in Ireland using pure Irish wool. But there's
Wow.
this little pouch. So this is a pouch that's
Oh,
the logo
wow.
on it, and it's
Yeah,
made with
yeah.
Irish wool.
That's
So
beautifully
this
made.
this is designed to be a bag for teas
Yeah.
and a little brass clip on it as well, so you can hang it on the bag.
So cool. Yeah.
So that's a nice one. And then another one that's a more traditional one. I wanted a valuables bag you can put your phone, your wallet, your keys into, and just throw into the bag.
Yeah.
So big enough to
Very.
put those in as well. But
And they'll
yeah,
be available. They'll be available for people sort of soonish on the website.
very soon. The box. I'm working with a local supplier, and she literally just got them over to me this morning. So I need to take a few pictures and put them up. But I think by the time the podcast goes live, they should be. They
They'll
should
be
be on the site.
available on lowchaser.com. Lowchaser.com.
And it's the small batch, handmade. So
Yeah.
once these sell, I'll probably pick out another few colors and add them in that way. But yeah, I'm
That's
excited
really
to
nice.
get
Yeah.
100% Irish made stuff made by somebody locally.
Is the more I talk to people on the podcast, I think it's just more of a leaning with smaller businesses and that personable touch, that idea of knowing who it's come from or who the ideas come from, um, the idea of locally sourced, a bit more sustainable, essentially as well.
It's
With
just even
that,
having the story behind it. It's nice to say,
exactly.
hey, the wool from this came from sheep within like 100 miles or whatever, or it
Wow.
was hand sewn like 20 miles away. It's that
Yeah.
type of. It's a lot easier to put, give it a bit of personality when it's local, and you kind of. And again, for me, it's just that little creative thing. It's you know back and forth with, hey, what do you think of this wool? What about this color? You
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah, when I had the idea for it, I was trying to figure out. I was actually going to try and make them myself, but I've never sewed before, so I decided I'd find somebody to.
I quite like the thought of you sitting at the sewing machine
I
at 10 at night.
I would actually try it. I'll try most things. I will try
Yeah.
most things. It's a skill I want to teach myself because I'll tackle most things around the house, but I can't sew, and I'm like,
Another
you know,
string to the bow.
yeah, if I can fix an engine, I should be able to sew two pieces of
Well, yeah.
material together. But we'll see.
I'll remind you of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll never happen. I'm planning it, but probably won't happen.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So where do you see, obviously with Low Chaser, you've got some amazing products on the website already, stuff being added as well. Where do you see, the next year, the next 2 years for Low Chaser Golf? Where do you
Yeah,
see it?
it's a really good question. I'm lucky enough in that this isn't. I'm not trying to make this into my full time job, so that takes an awful lot of pressure off. So I'm not massively tracking numbers, and I'm not focusing on huge things. Like my first year, you know, it's lovely when you get an order and you say, "Oh, I'm after selling somebody in Japan or somebody in Norway or France or it's all over the globe without trying to advertise." And I love seeing that the thought of having my stuff
Yeah,
sent across the globe. So I just really want to let it grow organically and let it kind of filter out that way. Like for me, when I retire and the flow chaser is still going and I'm going down to the post office every day with a few orders, that would be brilliant for
absolutely.
me.
Yeah, it sounds like a similar sort of thing. I mean, with this, I know it's probably never going to be my full-time job. I'd love it to be. That would be amazing. But realistically, that you'd have to huge outlay more than likely to try and market it enough for
Yeah,
people to be able to get it, and you're not going to necessarily compete with the top level, and trying to would almost sacrifice everything else that you've essentially built. But it's just a case of, like you said, that organic growth. I get that same excitement when I see that the podcast has been listened to, like, a percentage up in America or
yeah,
X amount, Canada. And I mean, my first thought is, are they using a VPN?
yeah.
But for you, you've actually got the data, you're sending it. So where's
Yeah.
the is it would was it China? Was that probably the furthest place? Would you,
Uh, Japan, Korea, Australia. Those are places where, and like I've had repeat orders, from some of the same people in Tokyo, for example. And I just love thinking that, hey, it's people actually, you know, my
come
my
back?
biggest market
Yeah, yeah.
is probably North America.
Okay.
And again, without trying to do marketing or anything, a lot of it's happened organically. I'm self-taught with so much, and I tried to do some of the marketing stuff, but I didn't nail it at the beginning, and I was like, okay, just dial back on that because
Yeah.
it's very easy to spend money running a business. It's very easy to spend money, but I was kind of
Yeah.
going, let's just focus on getting the money in first. But yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it's I have a lot of ideas. There's lots of things I'd like to do, lots of products I'd like to add.
Mm.
Whether it's colors or sizes or um, but yeah, I read a really good book called Company of One,
Okay.
and it was brilliant because the whole idea is you don't just have to grow for the sake of growing. Like it was the first business book where they're all focused on this is how you get so much profit, so many customers, so many. But in that book, it's like, well, why do you want to grow? What's the rationale?
Yeah.
So do you want it to be like, are you growing? Say if I wanted to turn it into a I don't know, €1 million company, how many staff would I have to employ? And then you have the pressure of, well, I now need to sell so much to pay these staff, and
Mm.
so like I have no overheads at the minute. It's run from my
That
home
sounds like a
office.
book that's right up my street.
It's
So is it
very good.
Company of One? Yeah, is that the name of the book?
Company. It's very very good. I'll text you on the author later on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Send me through who it's by, and I'll look it up because, yeah, I'm of a very similar ilk. I might actually just check that you're not sort of an Irish brother of mine because we seem to be pretty aligned on most things. It's I just with everything I've done, I've always asked that question of, is it going to cause me more stress,
yeah.
and is the money that I'm going to make from it worth that stress? Because time is always the most valuable
It it is
asset in life, isn't it? At the end of the day,
definitely like if you were to go if I was to go through it all again, I'd just try and start off and have less outgoings to start with, rather than having everything that's going on now. But I'm kind of glad we've realized early on in life. Some people never realize it. They waste their whole life just chasing the next promotion that they spend on money for. Yeah, I got to buy a new car to impress so and so that I don't even like. And
yeah,
whereas I'm just, I just want to spend time with the kids and play a bit of golf and
yeah.
just go out and fix
Any
things
of
around the
any
house.
of your kids showing any interest in golf?
Yeah, it's my two girls. They're 7 and 9. They started showing an interest, and I got them clubs last year. So my eldest is a member in the golf club now.
Oh, nice.
Uh, so normally it's not close. So when I go to my parents' house for weekends, um, we bring along the clubs, and they have a really good junior program.
Hmm.
But I think maybe in another couple of years, when she's a little bit older, she can go back for maybe a week in the holidays and do some of the
Yeah,
summer camps and stuff.
yeah.
Um, my second should be able to join next year,
Hmm.
and then yeah, small fellas a few years off yet. But it's
Yeah,
nice because I can go to the driving range and they'll come along with me and
yeah.
get them a bucket of balls. And they also, it's even little things like they love packing the orders. I get orders in and
Oh, that's nice.
show them,
And
hey,
workers,
yeah, well, it's they kind of see that dad's made something just for and it's going off somewhere else, so they they like that side of things.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. It gives them a nice introduction to what business is as well,
yeah,
and things like
it's
that. Hard
again
work.
just to make sure that you can make something yourself and other
Yeah,
people might like it. It's but again, it's as much for me as anyone else that I'm doing it. But yeah, it's nice to see they have an interest. Whether they still have an interest when they're older, maybe not. But I can picture maybe in 10 or 15 years' time, they might want to get in, and it's impossible to get in as a member in a lot of places.
yeah.
Whereas if you're a junior and you move up through the ranks, it's a lot easier to stay in. So,
And it's so hard to. I think it's so hard to learn the game if you're. I reckon if you're maybe 30 plus picking up golf,
yeah.
that movement and everything like that, the physics of golf is actually really hard if you've never swung a club before to try and work out how to do it if you're 30 or over. I've watched friends that have taken it up and they don't have any of the fundamentals that are there. And it's very difficult to program that in, I think, anyway. I don't know what you think on that.
Yeah, like for me, we used to get old books and magazines, and it was just a swing sequence, and I literally stand in front of a window and just try and copy that sequence, and
Hmm.
that's how I got my swing. Whereas with the girls, like I'm not trying to do anything with them. I'm literally, here's a ball,
Yep, go and have fun.
try and hit it off the club face,
Yeah,
and if you keep doing it and you keep liking it, we'll get you lessons. So
absolutely.
they do so much. I don't want to force them into it. I don't want to make it feel. I don't want them to be obligated to do it or anything like that. I just want to have fun, enjoy it, and I'm hoping that they'll pick up other friends that do it as well that way. But definitely, you see people now that are in their 40s and 50s, and yeah, it's not an easy movement to pick up out of nowhere.
No,
Um,
They try and pick the ball up off the ground a lot of the time, and it's just if you haven't worked out, they're slowly getting it. They're slowly getting it, but it's very difficult. Whereas somebody that played as a kid and then picks it back up again within sort of, 100, 200 balls,
Yeah,
they get that sequencing back again. They work out how to do it and can play to a decent enough standard. And even like course management, right? I mean, if you haven't been around a big golf course before,
yeah,
it can seem so daunting, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's what I found is because I went through so many years was only playing 2 or 3 times a year. I'm a lot stiffer now than I was when I was 17, 18. Like where I could put the golf club then versus what I can do with it now, very different. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can still punt the ball around the course, and it's the short game and all that stuff that just clicks.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really helps. But try again, you get somebody that's new to golf and say hit that 40 yards as opposed to hitting a full swing.
Yeah.
40 yards, 80 yards, the same thing to them. They can't.
Yeah. That's what I've got a mate who says to me, like, oh, what club are you taking in, like 100 yards in? I'm like, there's no like if
Yeah,
I could tell you, but you're not going to hit it as far, and that's not because you're not you're very strong, you're very capable. Like this is not me
yeah,
commenting on you and your physique or anything like that. But it's probably just 7-iron. Just as I said to him, like most of the time, just pick up a 7-iron, half swing, just get that ball up in the air. But he doesn't listen. He just takes the same club as me and thins it, and I said, well, you're closer now. There is that.
yeah. Progress.
Yeah.
Move the ball forward. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's all about progress. Exactly. So you're hoping to play a little bit more this year. That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Um, I've left one set of clubs at my parents' house now, so at least if I go back and the car is full with all the kids' stuff, I might still be able to sneak out for 9 holes.
Yeah. That's very
Uh,
tactical golf club
it,
placement. I
it's
like that.
it is. I was like I left my old clubs there, which again they're 25 years old, but they work.
They
Like the
work.
ball still goes forward. It just you know. Um,
What was it Rory said the other day? His favorite driver of all time was the M2.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, what's that? 12? Is that probably 10 years old? 12 years old now?
Yeah,
How
it's
old is that?
probably 2014, is it? Something like that. Yeah, about 11, 12 years old, roughly. Like and the irons I have, like the only reason I change them at all is I was at the range one day and the pro was like, you still have those. Like we can get you another 20, 30 yards now with modern
Right.
irons. They're fine. Fine. Um,
He shamed you into it. But
you should,
it was that thing, wasn't it? Of like, oh, it's all about gaining yardage. And now you look at it and they're actually pulling back on that and it's all about getting accurate yardage. It's like,
yeah, it's growing up. I saved money from, and this is the story of where those clubs came from. There was one week when I was caddying on Thursday. I caddied, and this is a lot of name dropping now, but
do
I'll
it.
just go.
Do it. We like a
I was
name
about
drop.
16. Thursday morning, I caddied in a group with, I caddied for Payne Stewart, and he
Right.
played with Tiger
It's a good
and Mark
start.
O'Meara. And then that afternoon, I was in a group with Ernie Els, so I caddied for some of his friends.
Okay.
Um,
This is quite the
Friday and
weekend so far.
Friday and Saturday, I caddied for Ben Crenshaw, and he was playing with Tom Watson. And then the course was closed on Sunday because of bad weather.
Right.
But I got a phone call saying Andrew McGee, who, if you're not familiar, he won a few times on the PGA Tour. He was the first
Okay.
guy to get an albatross, I think, on
Right.
TV. He played on the Sunday. So in those 4 days, I made enough to buy a set of irons,
Hmm.
and I got myself a Callaway 4-wood as well. And I got those when I was 16, and I
Hmm.
was playing with them up until about 2 years ago. So,
Wow. Did they tip you well, those guys?
so they did, yeah. Um,
They looked
They
after
did.
you.
It was tidy. The best one I got was I caddied for Mike Weir at one stage,
Yep.
and his manager played with him or his agent, and he said, "Hey, just give me your addresses. We'll send you on something." We're thinking, "Oh, okay. We got a nice tip." We're thinking, "Oh, we might get some hats or maybe sleeve of golf balls or something."
Mm.
And about 3 weeks later, we got a brand new Titleist driver
No
and a
way.
dozen Pro Vs in the post. Yeah, it was. And it wasn't just me, it was the four caddies in the group.
Yeah,
We all got them, and you're kind of going, wow, that's
yeah.
unbelievable.
That
Now,
is nice.
yeah,
There
it
you go.
was a
If there's
crowbar
an
of a
opportunity
shaft.
to caddy, go and do it. You never know. You
It
never
was,
know.
it was good. It was the following year. I was thinking, should I go to college or should I try and caddy on tour? I was actually
Mm,
strongly debating taking a year or two off and going on tour, but I was a bit too young at the time. I
mm.
was like a bit too sheltered. I was like, it probably wouldn't work out as well as I have in my head. But yeah,
So
it was good. It was,
it's another sort of almost battle that goes on. You know, you got the leaderboard that everyone sees. You know, the world top 100 golfers. There's another battle that's going on underneath that with the caddies.
yeah,
Obviously, you know, getting a bag for the year. It's just
it is like even. Um, I was trying to, and again at the time there wasn't much of an internet, so it was hard to understand how would you get on, how much money would people make, and
mm,
I saw from we had a really good. You could see it through the levels of golfer. Like the guys I play golf with at the time, they were playing off like 3 and 4, which in a modern handicap system they'd probably be like +2.
yeah,
And they'd be that, 4 in Ballybunion back in the 90s was a good golfer.
yeah,
You saw the difference between those guys and the guys that were scratched there, and then the guys that were playing off plus handicaps at the time. And you see those guys in the Irish Open played in Ballybunion in 2000,
mm,
and we saw the different, guys I had caddied for when they were playing international amateur golf, seeing those up against European Tour players at the time. The gulf was just huge between them.
mm.
And then the gulf between those guys and, your Tigers, your
Another
Scotties.
level, isn't it?
It's just you see good golfers, and then you see these guys, and it's hard. It's hard to explain when you see them side by side and you understand the gulf between them. And when you've played with the guys that top 1,000 in the world, you've
Yeah.
played around the golf and you're going, yeah, we're playing different sports here.
Oh yeah, and it's mad, isn't it? Because then it's really funny with golf. There's almost like a top 20% that sits in this handicap range that's so vast, and yet the 80% of golfers actually don't get to break 90,
Yeah.
essentially break 95, and then this top 20%, you think, oh, that's good. I'm in that bracket, but there is just gulfs between each percentage
Oh,
down to that top 1%. I mean, it's
like
just
I've broken 80 a few times, but not often. But
okay.
like when you see the guys that were doing it, they're going at him trying to break 70 today. It's the
Yeah.
gulf between us is, you know,
That's one of my goals for this year is to break 80. I shot an 81 towards the tail end of last year. Um and yeah, I just want to I know it's in there. Like I played that
yeah.
round and I didn't even play that well. And it was
It's
just
the first time. Well, I won't say the first. Uh, One time I broke 80. It was only like my third round in about 18 months.
okay.
Um, and I topped my drive off the first. Um,
Expectation hit the floor
oh,
immediately.
not
Perfect.
even expected. There was no expectation. I literally there was no warm up. There was nothing. I hadn't hit a ball in like 6 months. Topped the drive, doubled the first. Got to the 18th. Then I realized I think I was two over, having doubled the first on the
Wow.
18th tee, and I was kind of going, hey, it's par five, it's uphill, but maybe I can get there. And of course, didn't realize there was internal OB,
Oh no.
but I still managed like a double on the 18th. But I was kind of going, for somebody that doesn't play,
Yeah.
but it's a level of it's that thing because I swung as a junior without reps. It just all came back, and there was
Yeah.
no. If I thought about anything, I wouldn't have broken 90. But this was just
Yeah.
an empty mind. Um,
Yeah, there's a huge argument for essentially like hyping it up too much. If you start like practicing hitting hundreds of balls a week, start trying to change things to be better. Obviously, there's a time and a place to do that, but that's not just before you're about to go and play golf.
No, it's there's a lot to be said for, working on your swing in the winter, and then in the summer just like getting reps and just playing nine holes. I think it's my big thing is just, if you put a scorecard in my pocket, if I was playing a competition, I couldn't do it. But when I go out there and there's no pressure, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So
Still though.
But I'm always, when you break, it's one of these things, if you break 80 or you think you can break 80, then you get annoyed every time you don't. And it's like, I play now, I have no right to break 100. But because I broke 80 like 15 years ago, I'm like, should be able to. 75 is a number in mind today. I've no right at all. No business thinking I should be breaking 100.
No.
But
it's tough, isn't it? That's the thing. Golfers' expectations are just,
it's what it is. And if you get the driver going, then the putter's not going to work. There's always something. There's always something to bring back.
Normally, it's just both ends of the bag for me that don't work, and I'm all right with the irons in between. That's pretty much my game.
There's something is going to go right. It's rare for everything to line up, but it's just about enjoying the walk. At the end of the day, I just come back and I'm saying, hey, I got fresh air. I had one good shot today. That's what you have to remember. So
nice beer at the end of it. Absolutely fine. It was all good. It was
for me, even my favorite thing is getting out. And I know we talked about this at the very beginning. 3.5 round. I used to love just getting a half set and going off before the team sheets are open. And getting out like as the greenkeepers are cutting the first, just going out on my own, and just playing one ball. And I used to do like 9 holes before work, and get in, be at my desk for 8 o'clock, but still have 9 holes done.
And
no worry about a score. Just that's my favorite. Just going out a half set, nothing too fancy, and enjoying it.
I might be able to squeeze in some of that this summer. I have to pick up a little half bag and just chuck it in the van. And
I love that whole thing. I got I'm looking here. There's a few sets of clubs. I got a couple of half sets or small carry bags. But I'm such a fan of just putting in 6 or 7 clubs. Keep it so simple.
Yeah, it makes your mind up for you as well, doesn't it? You get certain yardages. You're like, this is what I'm going to hit.
Yeah, I love it. It's either I have a 5-iron or 7-iron. It's one or the other, and just a half swing with the 5-iron. That's what I have to do. You're not far off what you'd score with a big set, and you can do it in half time.
Exactly. You can just hit that 5-iron and just hit a little low chaser. Right.
Exactly.
Right on brand. Well, Michael, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Thank you as well for sending out the grips for me to try as well. They've honestly improved the aesthetics of my bag like massively. First of all, the performance. I had some grips on there that desperately needed changing, so the performance immediately is way better. And equally with the ball marker, I'm gonna have this, iconic piece now that's going to be on the greens.
Excellent.
So I love that, and the tees also are actually very, very good quality as well that he sent out. So I'm looking forward to breaking a few of those with some mishit drives.
Hopefully you can use it to when you break 80, you can frame a couple of tees and stuff. That's
absolutely. I might stop for the year if I break 80, to be honest, and just call it that.
Once I'm pretty sure once you break it once, you'll get through a bunch of them one after the other.
That's it. But yeah, no, I really appreciate your time. Like I said, we know you're incredibly busy family man, running, essentially multiple businesses going on and everything like that. So I appreciate you taking the time and talking to us.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Great chat. Love
Absolutely. It. And we'll look to do this again and catch up on where Low Chaser's got to.
Yeah, definitely. Look forward to it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.